안녕하세요. 저 이름은 신상률입니다. 이 유튜브 채널을 시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. But I was born in Philippines, dun sa Maynila Medical Center. And after that, I went to school from elementary all the way to high school in Philippines also. But for college, I went to the US for university. So I left Pinas after I graduated high school. 私は大学時代に日本語を勉強するために日本に行き、仕事を始めるためにアメリカに戻りました。Now, after graduating from college, I started a 30-plus year-long career in the United States working in investment management companies, hedge funds, and technology. Okay lah, don't play with life. Dai must come to Singapore and see if same but different.
Same but different. No money, no honey. Good boy goes to heaven. Bad boy goes to Bangkok.
What is up, YouTube? We are back at it again, and today we're going to talk about something that's becoming more and more important over time, and that's the ability to bring multiple perspectives into whatever that you're doing. Before we continue, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's watching. You know, every week when I have to make these videos, I have a lot of fun, and I hope you have as much fun that I do making them. And if you like this content and you think other people would benefit from listening to it, please do give it a like and share, and also subscribe to the channel. Now, I hope you had some fun watching me trying to speak those different languages earlier, but the point I'm trying to make is that having multiple backgrounds, multiple experiences in different cultures gives you an unfair advantage because you are able to see things from a broader and wider perspective. And most importantly, you're able to understand people who are from those different types of cultures better than others. And that gives you the edge when it comes to making high quality decisions. So I wanted to share with you my version of what I just described, which is basically 5 places in this planet that have greatly impacted and added to my capability of perspectives, which is Korean, Filipino, Japanese American, and most recently Singapore. And I'm actually building a 6th one out in Bali. And I'm sure some of you are already doing this and building your own stack as well. So first up is Korea, my ethnic and biological background. Now, I actually took a 23andMe test years ago and gave them my DNA, and they returned saying that I was 98 point something % Korean. The thing that I get out of the Korean side of me is the passion. And that's because Koreans are passionate people, and that's due to their long history of always trying to be taken over or colonized, and always being considered like second best but not the best. So they always have this like chip on their shoulder. And so they're very passionate people. In fact, I kind of think like, I say the Koreans are like the Italians of Asia. They eat a lot of garlic. Their food's very like, flavorful. And
Koreans. Yeah! Koreans, but we're like the angriest on the planet, are we not? Are we not Koreans? That means hello in Korean. You know what I'm saying?
And that's something that has value, that brings the fire to the equation, right? The wantingness to do something that propels you forward I get that from the Korean background in me. The Philippines is like home to me. I was born there and I grew up there. And to me, the thing that the Filipino heritage of my experiences that it brings to the table is basically brotherly love. I mean, in the States, Philadelphia is known as a city of brotherly love. If I look at the world and look at which country is the country of brotherly love, and I would have to say it would be the Philippines. The people there are so kind and so nice to people, visitors, foreigners, and even to each other. That's the emotion and that's the ability that I have because of staying there for so long. And what that means is I'm able to find ways, kind of like in the way a diplomat would, but not to get so worked up, but to always have a more kind and loving perspective to situations, to try and diffuse or to try and onboard people so that they feel comfortable in doing whatever they want to do together with me. I didn't stay in Japan for years and years and years, but I did understand its culture and traditions when I stayed there for just a summer, in fact. And this is the point. You don't have to stay forever in one place to understand things. And, Japan is quite similar to Korea and other countries influenced by China and its filial piety. And so when I started seeing like huge differences between Japan and Korea, that's when I understood the value of the Japanese culture and tradition. And the one thing for me that I took out of that was restraint, was discipline. And that is something that the people there really practice, right? and they respect and hold themselves accountable to having a way of interacting with everybody else that has some form of restraint so that you don't go overboard and you don't push too far. Now, everything has a benefit and negative. If you do too much of that, you'll limit yourself. And if you do too little of that, you're going to have anarchy. But the ability to push yourself towards, one end of the spectrum when you want to and show restraint is a really important ability. And that actually is, in my world, a safety net, a safety button, limiter that I have in myself so that things never get out of control, because I always have that ability to exercise and show restraint, which is something that I really learned during my stay over in Japan. And I understand Japanese people as a result, or people around the world who aren't necessarily Japanese but have a similar function in their being of having this restraint mechanism in the way they operate. Now, what can I say about America? America, I stayed there for decades, and built a career out there. And, if I were to boil everything down to one thing that my American experience has brought to the table, that would be the individuality and the freedom to express creativity, which is immensely important in areas such as innovation. And that is something that I've really learned to grow and love about my experience in America. Now, as I said, you take anything too far in either direction is not a good thing, but the ability to understand how to become, innovative by expressing your individuality and creativity is something that's super critical, especially when you're trying to change things and when you're trying to navigate uncharted territories, which is exactly what happens when you factory reset yourself and wipe yourself clean. It is an unexplored, territory because it's a blank slate. And so something like this is immensely important going forward. And finally, we come to Singapore, where it's a city-state that has become immensely successful. And there's a lot, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of different people here, even though there's a majority, there's a lot of different ethnic and cultural traditions and all mixed up and actually working together. Now, granted, the size of it being small has something to do with its success in that capacity, but make no mistake, it's working here. And the thing is, what I've gotten out of my stay here in Singapore is that you can have many different perspectives working together in harmony. And that's something like internally to me, like, hey, I have all these different experiences and backgrounds, but just like the country of Singapore, I know that there's a way to get them to all work together. It's not about one being better and one being inferior. It's actually what is the right mix for the right situation. And having that calibration and the ability to synthesize and apply the different capabilities that you have tailored to the situation that you're facing, that is the super skill that if you can master will give you an unfair advantage over most other people. Now, there's one more place that I'm currently also working on, and that's over in Bali in Indonesia. And I'll probably save that for another episode altogether. All right, give you a little glimpse of what it's like to ride on a scooter here in Bali in the wood. Scooter's the way to go, man. If you're going to car, it's like bad traffic. Scooter, you can weave in and out, no problems. I'm still learning the culture over there and the locales over there, but it's been an exhilarating experience so far, and I look forward to learning more and adding that to my cachet of different cultures. So my message in this episode applies to everybody of all age group. It's never too early, it's never too late, and it's not difficult to do. All you need is just a few months to really immerse yourself and try to tack that on with whatever you're doing, right? If you've got a job that's telling you to go to a certain place in the world, or if you just want to take your time out, or some education, exchange program, whatever it is, make the most out of it, because as I said earlier, this is going to be a critical skill going forward. So thanks for watching. I hope this message adds a little bit into your perspective of what you can learn going forward to try and make yourself a more powerful and better person.